Let's make that happen. My broker said this to me this weekend because I was telling her about. I was like, "Oh, we went to Andrea Bocelli. This is a bucket list item for me."
Oh yeah.
And she was talking to me about what else was on my bucket list. And I was like, "Oh, this and this and this and this." She's like, "Is it written down?" It's like, "No." She said, "If it's not written down, it won't happen."
I agree with that. It's like it doesn't exist.
Doesn't? Yeah.
You'll get to the end of the year and go, man, I wish I would have acted on that, or man, yeah.
I agree. So we should figure out what 2023 is looking like besides hog hunting. That's on
Right.
there out of a helicopter.
That's
Wait,
it.
I didn't add to my bucket list. Can you believe that?
I actually was watching videos of a chain gun being used yesterday. It just looked unbelievable. Just the gun itself it's at 4,000 rounds a minute. That's 67 rounds a second. Think about that.
That's bananas.
That's insane. I don't know if the one on this hog hunting deal, if they have a gun like that, that seems extremely expensive. Because in like literally a minute, in a minute, you're
They're like, okay, you're all out of money.
yeah, it's like wah, and you let it go, and you're like, okay, well, that was $4,000. So, but anyway, yeah. So I have that one on my bucket list. But what does your 2023 look like? Have you stopped to figure that out in terms of
As far as goals go,
right, like
no.
number of closed transactions, that kind of stuff?
Nope, I need to sit down and write it.
Yeah. I came up with mine, and it's 50. It's 50 closed transactions.
Okay.
50?
50 closed transactions for the year.
And if you don't hit that, what happens?
How
much pain will you be in if you don't hit 50?
Here's what I decided to do. I am going to staple my nuts to this chair.
That's
if I don't
extreme.
hit it, and I've already got the staple gun, it's a monster. So I'm just gonna snap, 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 snap.
Until you hit that.
That's exactly right. So my last few listing appointments, if I don't hit it, I'll be dragging a chair with me.
Well, I think the one thing you need to do, Matt, is say, the way I'm going to hit 50 is, okay, I need an ISA.
Right.
Need an assistant. That way, while I'm out, someone's still generating.
Yeah. And that's the goal. And in past, when I've had ISAs working for me in the past, that is typically the case because they're doing exactly what Emmanuel's doing, and that is they're 8 hours on the phone all day. So we may not be getting appointments every day, but we're getting nurtures that we're adding to the database every day, and that's key. That's a good one.
All right, I got a question for both of you guys. You guys mentioned what are the things that you guys want to accomplish this 2023 coming up. Can you guys go back to 2021 and if you had got to the level where you guys want to be when you were thinking about how 2022 was gonna go for you guys as far as closing deals or getting more deals?
Yeah.
How's it been in the 2022 with a lot of things changing dramatically?
Good question. So in 2021, my business changed pretty drastically. And what I mean by that is I have always been a prospector, always. So the day I came into real estate, the only thing I knew to do was get on the phone, and that's what I did. and I sucked at it and then got better over time. But in 2021, things just changed. All of a sudden, business was coming at me in a way I had never experienced. It was just coming to me left and right, which was awesome. I wasn't making phone calls at all. As a matter of fact, I ended up having to stop because to handle the business that I had coming at me, and which was a really nice thing. The problem is in 2022, the first part of 2022, the same thing kept happening. And so my laziness or lack of willingness to get on the phone burned me as we got deeper into the year because the transactions slowly started to peter out. And I thought, well, I'll give it time and people will keep coming. But that's not what happened. I should have, number one, I should have never gotten off the phone. And then number two, in the beginning of the year, I should have made a commitment at the beginning of January 2022, beginning of this year, just to recommit myself to be on the phone, just blowing it away. And I didn't do that. And so it burned me and I shot myself in the foot. So to answer your question, my 2021 was better only because of the business I had coming to me. Had I continued to prospect during that period of time, my 2022, I think this year would have been just as good, if not better than 2021. So,
Okay.
yep. Because I've spoken to friends of mine that have done just as well in 2022 or better in 2022 than they did in 2021. And we've seen a dip in the market and interest rates increase, and there's fewer sellers and fewer buyers now as we're getting later in the market. And they've done just as good. It hasn't really, I mean, they're seeing the slowdown for sure, but their business has not stopped. So
I think the business for me is kind of like dieting or food. And it's funny because once I connected, okay, when I prospect, kind of like what you were saying, prospecting equals appointments, appointments equals money.
right.
And you have to tie those together to really be successful. So for me, it's kind of like dieting of, okay, guess what? That cookie tastes really good right now. But because I ate that cookie, I'm not going to have as good of a workout. I'm going to feel sluggish, sloppy. So there's same thing with prospecting. Okay, if I don't prospect today, then I'm, in 90 days, I'm going to feel that hit.
Right.
Or 30 days, I'm going to feel that hit. And because that hit isn't immediate, a lot of times you just put it off and don't prospect.
Yep.
You're not consistent with it. So I think this year is the year that I finally figured that out. Where, food has a consequence and not prospecting has a consequence.
Right. And it's so funny, but tell me if this isn't true. You knew, just like I knew, the truth of it is I got to be prospecting. But there's a difference between knowing and truly understanding something, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the knowledge of not prospecting becomes very, very real. And you go, holy crap, now I get it.
Yep.
It's like, but did you know it the whole time? You knew it the whole time. You just, now all of a sudden it's kind of kicked you in the coin purse and you're going, whoa.
So that's the thing, Emmanuel. Like as you do it and as you get bonuses and things, you're going to start realizing, man, all I have to do is be consistent. That's all I have to do.
Right.
I don't have to sound the best. I don't have to sound amazing. I just have to be consistent. That's it. Do you know who Dan Penna is? I think that's his name, Dan Penna.
Yeah.
Some really rich guy in England. I think he's from America, businessman. But he said one of his best salesmen that he had, and he said probably one of the richest guys that I ever knew. We pulled up in his limo and he's like, I'm about to show you that life is a numbers game. Dan Penna's like, what are you talking about? So pulls over on the side of the road and says, I'm going to ask every woman that walks by to sleep with me. So he did. Said I got kicked in the groin. I got spit on. I got punched. I got, told to F off. And on woman 17, she says, yeah, I've got time. Do you want my place or do you live close by?
Man,
Obviously, he didn't do anything, but
right.
the whole point of that was life is a numbers game. If you go up to 100 people and Emmanuel, if you just called and said, "Hey, this is Emmanuel. Do you own a home here?" Yeah. Will you meet with my agent, Kent? You could do that 100 times. Probably 1 or 2 people are going to say, "Yeah, I will."
I agree. I had a real estate coach say, listen, in real estate, everything works. But this is in life. I mean, he was specifically talking about real estate, but this is in life. He said, I swear to you, if you had a donkey and you hung a sign over that donkey's back that says, I sell real estate, would you like to sell your house? If you went and just set that donkey out in front of a grocery store and you stood next to that donkey, enough people will pass by and you will get business from that donkey and the sign. I guarantee it. That's the way it works. If you went to the grocery store and every person you bumped into in the grocery store, you said, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry to bump into you. My name is Matt. I'm in real estate. And if I can be of help or service to you, please let me know. I'd love to help you. Are you thinking about buying or selling?" You get away from me, man. You're a freak show. But someone is going to say yes, and you will get business. And that is it's not just the nature of real estate. As you said, Kent, it is literally the nature of life. Everything works. Nothing doesn't. And that's a fact.
It's true.
Nice.
So who's going to play the game? You got to play the game to win. So that's all you're doing, Emmanuel. But using the scripts is what increases those odds from, 1 out of 100 to probably 10 out of 100 or 5 out of 100. All it is millimeters. Millimeters. What's funny is you look at people like in the NFL and people in college that don't make it to the NFL, the difference of those guys is marginal.
Right.
Same thing with top producers in real estate and those that just sell here and there. It's marginal. People that sell, the top producers just talk to more people.